Hello, crafty friends. This is Julia. Thank you so much for joining me today. This time I have a Halloween themed birthday card to share with you using the adorable little bats from the latest Lawn Fawn release. And this is also my weekly post for Moni's Bastelkiste, so I'll be sure to leave a link to her shop and list all of the products I use down below. So first up, I, as usual, stamped all of my images onto Transotype Perfect coloring paper. Then I went ahead and cut them out with my brother's scanning cut, and I just like puzzle pieced them back into the outline with some post-it tape because I don't want to risk like cutting it out after because it could ruin my images that I've already colored, but I also hate having to handle like the tiny cutouts, so I'll just pop them back in, and this has been working really well for me. Then for my bats, I wanted them to be kind of a purplish gray. So I started out with cool grays, and then I'm going in with some blue violets, the BV markers, BV11 and BV quadruple zero, just for a light purple hue. And then I'm also adding in some light pinks to the cheeks and the insides of the ears. I wanted the branches to be fairly muted, so I'm going in with a really cool tone brown, the E70 markers. I started with E77, but that wasn't quite dark enough for what I wanted, so I'm bringing in the E79 as well, then blending that out with E77, 74, 71, and 70, just so I can get a nice transition. You don't need to use that many markers for like a single branch, but I find I have an easier time blending with more markers, so that's why I do it. Then I'm using BG90 markers for my leaves, so I have a really cool muted green tone. And then for the little spiders, I'm using the same C markers I used for the bats. I'm just omitting the purple tone for the spiders. And this is definitely the only kind of spider I can tolerate because I'm really creeped out by spiders. But these are adorable. And for the little moth, I also used the E70 markers and a little bit of the purple tones I used for the bats. Then I'm stamping the second part of my sentiment, or the first part in this case, technically. Have a fantastic day. I just heat embossed that with the Lawn Fawn white embossing powder. I'm trying this one for the first time and I'm really liking it. Just melting it with my heat gun, and then I'm trimming it down to a thin sentiment strip, and I'm also trimming off the day so that the strip just reads "Have a Fangtastic" because I want the sentiment to read birthday, and I'm using the Scripty birthday word die from Lawn Fawn just to spell out the word birthday. For my background, I just ink blended it lightly with shaded lilac all over, and then I'm using shaded lilac just a little bit more on the cloudy stencil, and then I'm also bringing in Villainous Potion and Black Soot, so I can get a really nice deep purple sky. And if I were to do this again, start from the bottom. It's so much easier and you don't mess up your clouds on the way down. I'm not sure why I even tried this way around. I didn't even think about it, but definitely start from the bottom. It's way easier. But I do like how the clouds turn out. They look really dramatic, which I liked. And I just moved my way down the panel, cleaning the stencil once I had all four sides so that I wouldn't muddy up the lighter colors. And I just kept moving down the panel with those three colors. And then I also wanted to add some more texture to the background, so I'm just ink blending it with the Snow Flurry stencil and just with some black ink, going over all of the little stars and like dots. And then I'm also adding lots more black splatters with just some water and the ink. Then I'm adding my three little branches with liquid glue to the background before I'm adding the frame. Just using some scissors to trim off the excess. And then I'm using liquid glue to attach the scalloped frame. I wanted to make sure that the branches start behind the frame so it looks like the scene just extends a little bit further. And then I'm adding the birthday. I die cut this one out of black cardstock as well as black fun foam, so that the sentiment is like really dimensional. And then I'm adding the Have a Fangtastic with some foam squares. I also added foam squares to the back of my cute little bats, and I'm just adding them into the scene. And now I'm also adding the cute little spiders and the little moth, just so that the scene fills up nicely. And for just a bit more interest, I'm also adding some white gel pen highlights with a jelly roll pen, just along the edges of the images, and especially along the tops and bottoms of the letters. I always like doing that because it makes them look a little bit more cartoony, and I really like how it makes them stand out. And that already finishes the card for today. I had so much fun making this card for my fellow teamie Yasmin. I will leave her link down below as well, and I hope I'll see you again next time. Until then, have an amazing day. Bye!